Season 2, Episode 12. The finale welcomes talented artist Stephen Light, also known as SLART.
Hi, I'm SLART and I'm on Thomas Berryman TV.
Okay, we got on the show Stephen Light, aka SLART. He's an artist in England, and he's here to talk about his life and his works. And hey, welcome to the show, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Thomas. Really appreciate it, man.
No worries. Do you mind starting off like where exactly you're from and how you first got started with art?
Yeah, sure. It's a long story. I'll try and cut it down a bit. So first of all, I'm from a town called Swindon in the southwest of the UK. So in terms of big cities, it's like roughly halfway between London and Bristol. So we've got quite a good location. It's an hour away on the train to London, so I can visit there, go and see art galleries and stuff. So in terms of how I got into art, I started drawing from when I was like a very small kid. I was really into it when I was from like 3-4 years old. I was just spending my time at home drawing or playing video games, basically, because I was quite a shy child, and I used to like losing myself in drawing. I'd get like a nature book. This was back before the internet. That's how old I am. It was about 30 years ago now.
Yeah.
So I got this nature book, and I like copying drawings out of it, and people used to say, "Oh, that's really good." Hopefully they weren't just humoring me, and it was quite good. But the main thing is I really enjoyed it and kind of lost myself, and I didn't have to worry about being a shy. I was kind of overweight as well, and sometimes bullied. So it was my kind of escape. So yeah, I did that so much as a child. And I used to draw video game covers as well. I used to play Nintendo all the time, and me and friends used to make our own video game covers, just pen and pencil, and like fantasize about these games we'd make. But none of us were developers, so we couldn't really make it. But it was just a bit of fun, really. So then I studied art in school, and then just really enjoyed it and got a good mark in my GCSEs, which is 2 years before university over here.
Yep.
And then I did A level, and then that's when it kind of started to end, really. I had this art teacher, and he was really unsupportive. I remember I was drawing this large scale drawing. It was about 6 foot tall by 2 foot wide or something, and I was really enjoying drawing this out. And he suddenly said, "Oh, you can't draw large scale." And I was like, "What kind of thing is that to say to your student?" And I got really defensive, and I was like, kind of said "F you" in my head. I didn't say it out loud. And then I dropped out of his class like soon after that. And I did study in another class for a bit, but in terms of going on to doing a degree, I didn't do that. I couldn't see a career in art back then. I thought I had to get a real job. I didn't really have support there to push me forward with that. So I went into like more graphic design and web stuff, because that was kind of more tangible, and I did that for a while. So I kind of fast forward to how I picked up art again, because it was back in 2019. I was reading this blog post, and it said, it just asked a simple question. It said, what did you spend your time doing as a child? It was trying to uncover what your kind of natural talents are, or what your natural inklings are in terms of doing things of interest. So I wrote this down in my journal, and I said all I did was play video games and draw, and that was it. And then I thought, well, I do enjoy playing video games, but I kind of see it more as a waste of time as I got older. I do enjoy it now and again, but I'd rather do drawing, because it's more, it kind of feels more productive, and it's more relaxing as well in terms of getting in a flow state. So I started drawing. I just started drawing my dog and people, and it started to unfold again. It was like it had been so long that I had totally no confidence in myself. I was like drawing and thinking, oh, this is rubbish, this is rubbish. Kept judging my work. But then I started sharing it with some people and on social media, and they said, oh, that's really good, actually. Started drawing free drawings of people. Some people started paying, like I'd send a free drawing to someone, and I would say, if you like it, just donate, some money through PayPal. And then one guy paid £70, and that was
Nice.
a lot for there's a lot for someone who hadn't done it professionally before, and it was just like a real confidence boost knowing that, wait a minute, someone's buying my work, so there must be some value in it. And then lockdown came, and I was quite fortunate. It was I was able to work from home, but then I got a lot of painting in then as well, because obviously we were indoors a lot, and I was just painting whatever I felt like, and kind of I didn't focus on improving my skill. I just improved in finding my own style and just getting work done, really. So I did that for a couple of years, and then it all started to kind of take off in June 2021, when I got this studio. I'm in my studio now. So before I was painting at home, and as soon as I got my studio, it was just like, felt like, I've got this space where I can come and paint, and there's no distractions, there's no worries about making mess. I can do what I want here. I can paint on the walls, and I know that when I come here, I will paint. And since then, I've just painted so much since. I'll show you in a bit around the studio. But yeah, there's a lot more to the story, but that's how I got back into it. So I'll talk a bit more about the rest of it in a bit. But
I can't believe that teacher said that. You should do a large scale one of him now as like a villain.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it for a while, actually. Yeah.
The Spider-Man, like painting, doing some art on him.
Yeah, that sounds great.
No, that's pretty. I love that you picked it up again. Like, I've been looking at your stuff for a while now. It's awesome. I can follow you and film my portraits.
Yeah,
and I just love both of your styles. That's like really my thing.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Right. So I've seen you've got up to there, and then I just want to ask, like, who was there, like, a top 3 artists who inspired you, like, growing up, that you really looked to and they had an impact on you?
That's a good question. When I was studying at school, I remember seeing Francis Bacon, and he just like blew me away, really, because his stuff is so surreal and kind of dark and emotional. It just really hit a chord, and I started looking into him, and I went to see his work in I think it was the Museum of Modern Art in New York about 12 years ago. So I kind of looked at his work as an inspiration over the years. He's the main one that stands out, and there's also more recently is David Shrigley. I didn't know about him until probably about 3-4 years ago. I don't know if you've seen his work, but he's like kind of like Fill My Portraits. He does these kind of drawings, and they're kind of like memes, and he's got like random phrases next to it, but they're accidentally really thought-provoking. He says he doesn't mean to make them thought-provoking. He just kind of paints what he wants, and it comes out whilst he's doing it. And I like his simple style as well. I think in the past, I always thought you had to paint like, like Leonardo da Vinci or something. That's kind of the perception I would say most people have. Like, a good painter means you have to paint really accurately, photorealistic, and it has to look perfect. But modern art has changed that, and I'm happy with my own style now. I'm not trying to paint realistic, because you can get photographs now. Back in the Renaissance times and stuff, they were using oil paintings as photographs because they didn't have photo technology. And I do admire them, for that level of skill. It's pretty amazing. But yeah, I think my main inspiration is someone called Jean Dubuffet. He inspired Keith Haring as well, and I found him through that connection and went to see his work last year in London. Yeah, he only started his art career when he was in his late 30s, and it kind of resonated to me because I was a similar age when I started 4 years ago. I'm 40 now. And he, in his documentary, it said he started when he started taking it seriously when he was 41, and he started like focusing on it as a, and then his kind of style was art brut. So it was kind of going back to film my portraits is really kind of non-conventional for the time. This was like in the 40s and 50s, I think, just after post-war, and he was having exhibitions in France where it's totally out of the norm then, and he was like really groundbreaking in that kind of modern art style. So I really like him that he was A, self-taught, and B, he started late. So thinking about him and how he got started really does inspire me as well. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's it's like never too late to start anything. Like, that's sort of inspiring for me as well.
Oh, good to hear.
Yes, and I've seen you do a few different styles. What are the main materials you use, or do you experiment a lot with different stuff, or do you have your go-to?
Yeah, I like using oils. Oils are my favorite. They're just so amazing that just when you apply the paint, it's just so silky, and it's more pliable. So you could paint something one day, come back, and it's still wet, so you can adjust it and everything. But I do like acrylics as well. I like if you want to do a quick painting with acrylics, it dries like the day after, like in a few hours, and then it's all done. So I use a mixture. If I'm doing some quick paintings I want dry quickly, I use that. But if I'm taking my time and there's no rush for it to dry, I'll use oils. And then also been doing some mural stuff over the past year. So that's been a learning experience as well, with all different types of walls and how you get the paint to last a long time and all that kind of stuff, and protecting the paint from weather and all those kind of things. So I did a painting on, I don't know if you have Pebble Dash over there. It's like a 1970s, 80s kind of thing on the outside of houses, and it's all rough. It's like lots of little stones in it, so it's quite hard to paint on.
Yeah. Okay.
So we had to get loads of, we had to get like 3 times as much paint as we estimated, because it like soaks it all in, little things like that. So it's definitely been a learning curve, but I'm happy with, I think oils are my favorite, and I want to go bigger and bigger on the canvases as well.
Yes, that's awesome. You got a few different things too. Like I've seen your coaster collection. I love the mobster coaster collection you got.
Yeah, thank you. I started the coasters last year, but I was kind of following David Shrigley because he did a lot of coasters, and I don't know, I think I might move away from that just because I prefer the painting side. I can obviously still sell the ones I've got, but in terms of making more, I don't know. Not that I'll definitely leave it, but I want my main focus this year to be painting more that I can sell to collectors and stuff. So yeah.
I was seeing your other interview online, and I was just thinking with the paintings behind you, your kidney man. You actually had some health issues. Also, did that impact your works, and are you able to talk about that at all?
Yeah, that's fine. I don't mind talking about it. I didn't want to go into it before because that's why I wanted to leave it for a bit until you mentioned it. So yeah, it was around the time I got my studio, I started feeling quite tired. I just thought I was unfit. I was like, I was walking up hills and stuff and getting really out of breath. And I was like, man, I'm really unfit. And then it started getting worse, and I realised after a blood test I had anemia. So the oxygen, I was having like lower oxygen in my blood basically. So that's why I couldn't walk as far or walk up hills without getting out of breath. And it wasn't until a couple of months later that I already had a kidney transplant in 2010. So I later found out after a biopsy that the kidney that I got was failing. So that's why I got anemia. I was becoming sick. So I, over from June 2021, for the rest of that year, slowly started getting more ill. And I didn't paint that much for the rest of the year. I was in bed probably for like 18 hours a day. I was just so tired. Just couldn't eat, and it was horrible. But I kind of, in the back of my mind, I knew I was going to be okay because I could go on dialysis again when the time was right. So then in December 2021, I started dialysis. For people who don't know what that is, I had to basically go into hospital 3 times a week, and they connect me up to this machine that cleans my blood. So because the kidneys weren't working, this machine is quite amazing how it works. It takes all of my blood out and basically puts it through a washing machine, which is the dialysis machine, and it puts it back into my body. So after 4 hours, it's like totally clean, and it's replacing the job of the kidney. So that's clean for a couple of days, and then I come back again and do it again. And when I say it out loud, it is quite a big thing. But I was just kind of going through it, and I knew what to expect because I'd been on dialysis before, so it wasn't as bad as the first time. Started in December, and then by the middle of January, it started cleaning my blood a lot more, and I started feeling a bit better. I was less bloated, and I had more energy. And that's when I started coming down the studio again. And I had the idea of painting a series of paintings around my kidney failure, and it was like a kind of therapeutic thing. So I didn't have a series of paintings in mind. I just had one idea. And the first idea was, I had this photo, like a selfie I took of myself in dialysis that first time. And I looked quite sad, and it was quite an overwhelming time. And I wanted to paint that so I could kind of face the feelings that came with that. It was a kind of, felt like a kind of form of therapy, like painting out that picture and slowly going through the process of making that come to life. And it was just amazing doing that, because I'm definitely someone who advocates therapy and stuff, to talking about problems, because historically I've kind of been someone who doesn't share too much. It's kind of, I don't want to say it is kind of stereotypically a man thing that you keep your feelings to yourself. Probably true, isn't it, to some extent? Yeah. But yeah, this was my kind of way of talking about it. So then after that, I did another painting in the series where I was led in my hospital bed, and you just see the picture of my feet. So I haven't got that one here because it's being framed at the moment. And then like the series come together. So I did, I'll show you behind, you can see the kidney man.
Yeah.
That was the first one. So I didn't, like I said, I didn't intend this to be a series. So I bought these canvases, and they had like superhero pictures on behind it. Right. And I thought, with the idea of integrating, like turning around my situation and making it into a positive, like I'm kidney man. It's
awesome.
Yeah. And it you can see in the background of it, it's got like little bits showing through from the old canvas, and I think it looks quite cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. So after that, I thought I'd write SLART Comics issue 1, and it's got the date on, and then all of a sudden I had the next idea, and then I had Donor Man. So it was donor man is basically my brother who donated the kidney, and he's
Wow.
absolutely my superhero for doing that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and then I don't think all of them are here, but there's number 3 as well, which is hold on, let me move that. This is a bit more of a jokey one. This very low Iron Man.
Yeah.
So like I said before, I had anemia, so I had this idea of painting Iron Man with no energy, and there's
Wow. That's cool.
having some humor in it, like
Yeah.
took the edge off it as well. And then there's a couple up here. I was inspired by the donor cards that you get over here. So they've got, if you want to donate an organ, I don't know they use them so much anymore, but
Yeah.
in the older days you had like a donor card, and if you passed away they would know you wanted to donate organs. So I did like this old version, which is orange, and then there's like a new one with the blue. So yeah, like the series, I did a few more, but they're not here. But the series came together, and then in May last year, 2022, I had an exhibition called Fistula, which is fistula is the thing on my arm. That's where they put the needle in for dialysis. So it's basically the vein and the artery connected together.
Yeah.
To make it easy access. So I set up this exhibition. It was in the exhibition space here in the studio, 21st of May 2022, and I exhibited all these paintings from this series, and then like the proceeds went to charity, to Kidney Care UK, which is like one of the big charities over here.
Yeah.
And it was just another big moment for me, like getting all this praise from people, growing my own self-belief by doing it, and experiencing other people comment on my work. And it just makes me think, when, like we were saying earlier, that it's never too late.
Yeah.
We just have to take the little steps towards it, and we have to like grow our belief in ourselves. Because like I said, I started out with the little drawings, and then a couple of years later I've done like my own exhibition that I set up, and now my belief is growing, and that's helping it move along. It's just the getting started that we're scared of. I think it doesn't matter how small you start, as long as you do something. You know how amazing Phil my portraits is. He's done like I think he painted yesterday, and he said he's done, what was it, 6,800 or maybe more than that commissions. That's so amazing. Like, I'm sure he obviously didn't start out with all those. He started out with his first one. He got ridiculed a lot, didn't he? And he still does, and he still keeps going. So
it's amazing.
Yeah.
And I love how he handles it too. And that's leading me into like, you're saying you're doing the exhibitions, and like you've done your own. I was thinking back, I watched that 2009 BBC interview that you done.
Yeah.
About social anxiety. Are we allowed to talk about that?
Yeah, that's fine, of course. Yeah.
Like, it seems like that's a long way from there. And how did that interview come about? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah, it's definitely a long way from that now. It's I still see myself as more introverted, but I'm more accepting of who I am now. I think when I was younger, I thought you had to be super confident, and you had to like, there's something wrong with me because I wasn't confident. I had to change it. But how that interview came about with Ruby Wax, who is she's quite a well-known celebrity over here and comedian. She's been doing stuff since the 80s, and how it came about was I was setting up an event in 2008, I think it was. It was a social anxiety event. Basically what it was a like a mini conference where people came along and tried different kind of not just therapies. They could try hypnotherapy, NLP, TFT, public speaking courses, laughter therapy, CBT, just like a little taster thing. Because when you're struggling, you don't really know where to turn. So it's kind of a place to meet like-minded people and get a taster for like different modalities and stuff. I was planning this event. It was about 6 weeks before this event was going to happen, and got an email from a friend who was in the kind of anxiety space, who run groups as well. He got invited to speak to Ruby Wax for the BBC, but he couldn't make it, so he forwarded me the email and said, "Oh, would you like to go along?" And my instant reaction was terror. I was absolutely terrified of going. I was like, "Oh my God, I can't do this." But there was something in me that like got me along to it. I just got myself there. And I remember it was in Notting Hill. It was quite a nice part of London. And it was in this cafe, and I got into the cafe. Luckily it was empty because they were using it for filming. But as soon as I got in there, I went straight to the toilet, and I was like, I did loads of deep breathing to calm myself down. And then I come out and I spoke to because I was thinking, because Ruby Wax was a big advocate for mental health, she was open about her depression and stuff all over the media, and I wanted her to come and open my event because it'd be good publicity for her and also help get more people to come along. So I spoke to her producer and I said, "Do you think Ruby would come along to this event?" And they said, "Probably not. She's probably too busy." And normally I'd stop there and like say, "Oh, I tried," and then give up. But I did the interview with her, as you saw, and then we had a really nice connection. And yeah, it was like a really kind of intimate interview where we both shared about stuff, as you saw. And then afterwards, we off camera, I was chatting to her, and then I said, I'd love it if you come along to this little event I've set up. Would you be free on, I think it was like 21st of November or something? And then she checked her diary and she said, "Yeah, I'm free. I'll come along."
Nice.
As long as, yeah, it was cool. As long as nothing else came up, like if any work come up, she might have had to make that a priority. But on the day she came along, and she brought her husband as well, who's like, he won't be well known as well known as her, but he's like over here quite a well-known TV director. He's directed loads of popular programs like Red Dwarf and Bottom and loads of other stuff. And they were just really down to earth, and they got stuck in and joined in on the activities. And that was one of those moments that was, like I said, when you prove to yourself you can do things, you have more belief to do more. So I was like stood there, and there was 80 people who turned up who had anxiety and shyness and stuff, and it was just, I couldn't believe that I set that up. There was the inspiration got me there, and the inspiration was bigger than the fear that I had and the anxiety I had about it. So that's how that happened. And then, cut a long story short, after that, I run regular groups in London, and we set up have you heard of Meetup? Meetup.com.
Yeah, I've heard.
Yeah, it's just like a face-to-face social network. So you set up events on there. So I set one up for, it's called the London Shyness Group. Yeah. And people started coming to that, and we had regular meetups, and then other people wanted to host their own meetups, and now it's like grown to 15,000 people. I'm not involved in it anymore because I moved away, but it just shows like how many people can relate to the things that I was sharing. And all those years ago, I thought it was just me. You tend to think it's just you when you've got things going on, but there's so many people who have the kind of similar things going on. We all have stuff going on at different points of our lives. So yeah, that was a really fun time, and it was a time of growth for me. And when I look back, I'm kind of glad. In some ways, I do regret not starting an art career earlier, but I feel like over the past 20 years, I've had more life experience. I've got so much to paint about now that it might have gone very differently if I did it from like went to university to study art, and who knows where I'd be. But I'm here, and this is the way I went. So I'm just grateful that I did get started again.
Yeah, so am I. I think it's worked out the right way it's supposed to for you. I think you're gonna take over with it. It's gonna be awesome.
Thanks, man.
And I love like talking about this stuff too. Is I've sort of had issues with anxiety in the past as well, and so I love how you set that up. That's like awesome. I wouldn't have never thought to do that. Like you said, when it's happening to you, you think you're the only one that it's happening to.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, I like having these conversations because you have some interviews and it's all like surface level talking about achievements and stuff like that. But it's good to go a bit deeper and see behind the person and their psyche and their anxieties and stuff. It makes it a bit more deeper, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And next thing I want to ask is, what's your top 3 books? Like, do you do a lot of reading?
Yeah, I do. God, that's a difficult one. I don't know the top 3 in order, but I'll say 3 of the ones I go back to regularly. There's one, Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu. It's I can't remember when it was written. It's over 500 years ago, and it was translated into English. So it's like short parables about life, and it's just a nice, relaxing book to read. And I listen to it on audio quite often when I'm just doing other things. Have you heard of that one?
I have recently. I did an interview with some guys, holistic meditation and freedom. Like they also known as Freedom Renegades, and they put me onto that as well. I haven't read it yet though, so it's exciting that you brought it up.
Have a look and let me know what you think.
Yeah,
take your time with it. It's quite a meditative book. It's not something you'd read through quickly. It's just like words you contemplate, but it's good. And what else? Like Kapil Gupta's book, there's one called Direct Truth. It's kind of on a similar thread to Tao Te Ching, but it's newer. It's only written like 5 years ago, but it's just conversations between him and clients about speaking the truth about the way things work in life. It's just really direct. Obviously, the name Direct Truth, but it's quite a short book that you can read in an hour. But it's, for example, it's got like truth about anger, and then it's got a little conversation. So it's like, rather than reading someone's techniques, it's reading about someone talking to someone else about it and seeing their insights into it. It's really good. And the third one, what else do I read regularly? I don't know, one that comes up, but I haven't read for a while, but it's a really good one for perspective. It's the Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. Time during the Holocaust, and he survived it and then he created a therapy that he helped others with. And it's just, oh God, it's just so obviously so dark in some places, but it's a really hopeful story. And it, when we get caught up in life, we kind of worry about small things, and this kind of reading this now and again is like, God, we're really lucky for what we have. Puts things into perspective for sure.
That sounds like an incredible read right there. Which brings me to my next thing. You've got 2 of your own books out.
I published a one on anxiety, social anxiety inside out. So I published it in 2013, and then I can laugh about it now. The irony is I depublished it because I was anxious about having the work out there. So it was unpublished for years, and then I was chatting to someone late last year, and I thought, bugger it, I'll republish it. It's not about me. It's not about what people think of me. It's just getting my words out there, and people can take it or leave it. And it was written like nearly 10 years ago now. So my perspectives have changed since then. We've all grown as people in 10 years, but like the principles behind it, and it's got my story about social anxiety as well. So even if it helps one person and it's out there, it's, yeah, the way I see it, it's worth having it there. And then I published my book, Art, Life and Creativity, which is a book of quotes that inspire me, and accompanying drawings that I've done and paintings. So I started this through lockdown. I had an idea to create this book with quotes with my artwork. I put it all together, and then what was on about the book? Yeah, I started doing it through lockdown, and then I was really excited about it. And then all of a sudden, I had massive doubts. I was like, "Oh, no one wants to read this. Who wants to see my art? It's rubbish." So I shelved it until the end of last year again. So the driver, before I go into a bit more about the book, the driver for this was after my kidney transplant. I was like, wow, I've got a new lease of life. I'm just gonna put stuff out there and not worry about what people think. So I published that book as well around at the same time I republished the anxiety one. And the book contains art from 2019 until 2021, I think. So it hasn't got any of my latest stuff, but it's like, it feels like a good kind of collection from the first 2 years of my artwork. So looking back at that, it'd be quite cool to document that. And I'll look back and probably be grateful that I did it in like 20, 30 years or whatever. And I sold some copies in my studio, and then this one guy, he was a lawyer. He came and bought a copy, and he went out and he read it on the bench. He like flicked through it, and he took the time to come back in and say thank you to me. And he said, "I really enjoyed your book." I sat there for half an hour with a cup of coffee, and he just read the book and like really enjoyed it. It's so lovely to hear, because that was the kind of intention I had to create the book. It's not like, obviously it's not a book you read straight through. It's like a book if you need inspiration or just kind of to reflect on. And it was nice to hear that. So that's another thing out there in the world that I'm letting go of, like worrying about having to sell it or anything like that. It's just there, and if people are attracted to it, then that's cool. And then hopefully I'll do another one of when I have some more art to put in. Yeah,
what an incredible feeling that would be, and someone coming in too telling you that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Hopefully we get another one going. Another piece of artwork. Oh, sorry.
No, carry on. That's all right. Yeah.
That I've seen that I liked. It was the 1.2 billion seconds one.
Oh, thank you.
That was awesome. That's obviously your life, hey, till that.
Yeah, that's right. I found photos, one a year from the baby up until I was 38. So 1.2 billion seconds is the amount of time that I was on the planet at the time of when I created it. So that was in like January 2021. I'll go and grab it. Yeah,
wow.
So I've done.
That's
I need
awesome.
to frame it because it's a bit wonky at the moment. But I did all these individual drawings and then mounted them on a bit of card. So I did it probably over a month or something, just not consistently one a day, but might have done a couple of one day and then missed out. But I really enjoyed going through that, and it was like with how I find art all the time. It's like a reflection on my life as well, because when you look back at photos, when you look back at childhood photos, you're instantly taken back there. So when I was going through all of my photos from birth till 38, it just made me think of those periods, and it was like, wow, what a reflection, what a journey I've been on. So that's I'm going to get that framed soon, so it's a bit nicer.
That's cool. I loved your Tupac one too, the King of Hearts.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I've got that here as well. That one has been that's being sold by a fine art gallery in the next couple of weeks, basically.
Wow.
So that's another thing that happened in this step in my journey. I reached out to someone on LinkedIn. It was I was searching for like art mentor through LinkedIn. I don't know why LinkedIn, but I didn't really see anything useful on Google, so I just looked on LinkedIn and found this lady Maria, and we had a Zoom call. And again, I just wanted to add the point that, like, before any kind of Zoom calls and stuff, I still get that anxiety come up. I don't know if you still get it when you do
every time.
Oh, you still do. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Well, it's not good to hear, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I sometimes get the urge to cancel because I'm like going into old habits and stuff. But I went ahead with this call with her, and we had a really good conversation. And she invited me to join her organisation in London. So basically, they're selling 5 of my pieces, which she has curated herself, and they're going to be on their website soon.
Yeah.
So that's another step in my journey where I believe in myself, because it's kind of taken it to the next level, that my work will be in front of people who actually collect art, and then once that kind of spreads, it will go on to the next stage, I guess. So that was an important step for me doing that, because I know I didn't have the inkling to do that before, but then I just had the idea, and now it's kind of moving things forward, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
And then on the back of that, through that organisation, there's a couple of art exhibitions next year. So there's one called Affordable Art Fair, which people go along to this to buy art specifically. So it's any art under £7,000. I don't know who come up with a figure that anything under £7,000 is affordable, but someone must have worked it out.
Yeah.
Because obviously a lot of art goes for hundreds of thousands and sometimes millions, as you know. But yeah, I've got that coming up next year, and then I've got another one, a place called Tower 42, which is in the city in London. So that's for a whole month as well, which is quite cool. Yeah, knowing that I've got some work down there. It feels like a really exciting year. I'm feeling well, and I'm excited to see where things go this year. So
yeah, it's going to be a good year, I think. And I've seen your website too. That's awesome. And you got that going as well. Did you do that yourself, or?
Yeah, that's where
cool.
Thanks. That's where the web skills helped me with that side of things. So like I said, looking back at the journey I've taken, I've learned a lot of web skills, so I can promote my artwork. I think these days a lot of it is about promotion as well. Obviously, there's a lot of social media presence, so I can do all that myself, which I'm grateful for. But in terms of the website, I got some tips on archiving your work. So in professional art circles, you basically archive everything that you've done on your website in chronological order. So I started doing that. I think it was about a year and a half ago. I just got all of my work, and it took ages, but I'm so glad I did it now. So I've got all of I need to update some of the newer pieces, but I've got all of my artwork from 2019 up until now on there. So then if anyone wants to find it, they can look through all of it, and then what is sold, what is available, and all that kind of stuff. And then putting my artist CV on there, I've tried to make it as professional as possible, basically. So I think that helped in moving things towards the professional end and getting things in order, really.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, that's something I want to learn as well. So I need to do one as well. So that's pretty cool. I got some books yet, but I haven't made a start on it. Oh,
well, I can give you a hand. Give me a shout.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that'd be awesome. I'll
Yeah.
have some questions for you.
Yeah, sure.
Next I wanted to, I wanted to bring up that shredder dialysis painting that you did too. Because
Yeah.
I love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's pretty cool.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm glad you do. I haven't got it here because that's been framed as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was I think that was number 4 in the series. So I basically did. I can share the picture afterwards. I got drawing a shredder on a dialysis machine. And I like puns as well, so I turned Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles into timely, manageable hemodialysis.
Yeah.
I'm probably the only one who find that funny, but
I like it. Yeah.
it fits in really well. And yeah, the whole idea behind it is like bad guys go on dialysis too. It's not.
Yeah.
It's like a funny twist on it, and it was one of my favorite programs. So
Yeah.
speaking of turtles, I got
Yeah, that's cool.
my one fighting with Leo. So that's me sword fighting.
Yeah.
Basically.
Awesome. Top 3 favorite movies of all time.
Oh, that's a good question. I think a lot of people try and choose like cool ones, but mine normally come from childhood. So the main 2 from childhood, Karate Kid and Short Circuit 2. Karate Kid, I just thought I always loved that because like I said, I was a shy, overweight kid, and I imagined like learning karate so I could beat up the bullies and stuff like that. And I did learn for a bit, but I dropped out because I just hated it at the time.
Yeah.
I actually got picked on at karate, so that was a bit ironic. I went there to learn self-defense, and then someone was picking on me there. But Short Circuit 2 is just a really sweet film, and who doesn't like Johnny Five? Oh, I've actually got a painting of him.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. And I did do a Karate Kid one, but I can't find it. It's in here somewhere.
Yeah.
The third one, it's got to be The Goonies, another childhood film. It was just cool, like kids similar age to me going on adventure and like getting into mischief. It's just very relatable film. So yeah, not the coolest choices, but they're definitely 3 big childhood ones.
No, that's awesome. I like them. What about top 3 favorite musicians or albums?
Oh god, that's a hard one as well. I don't know. It's got to be from my teenage years again. So definitely Wu-Tang Clan is up there. Tupac, and it's got to be Coolio. Rest in peace, because he his song "Gangsta's Paradise" got me into hip hop. It was the first song that I heard, and me and my friends like wrote all the lyrics down because it was on VH. We recorded it on VHS then, and we like wrote down all the lyrics manually, and it took bloody hours to do. So yeah, I don't know if they're favorite of all time, but they're definitely
that's pretty cool.
Of the top. Yeah,
that's 3 good picks right there. I love all them as well. I've seen you talking about crypto as well. Were you into that?
Yeah, I've got my work on OpenSea as NFTs as well. I haven't done much in terms of promoting that. I know a lot of people in the crypto space who like spend a lot of time on Discord and promoting it and doing roadmaps and stuff. But that's not where I want to put my focus. I'm just putting my work out there, and if anyone comes across it and wants to buy it, they do. I did sell a few. So yeah, I just like things being out there in the world, and you never know who's going to buy it one day. So I'm just glad I knew how to do that and process it. So yeah, I've been looking into crypto the past 3 years maybe, and yeah, it's quite interesting, the NFT side, and it's really in its infancy at the moment. I look forward to it.
Yeah.
When it's matured and like top galleries are kind of taking it seriously and try and integrate it somehow. But as you know, a lot of stuff just sells for overinflated prices at the moment. It's a bit of a bubble.
Have you invested in any of the coins or anything? Like bought into like the currency as well?
Yeah, I bought some things. I do like Chainlink. I think it's got some kind of future. I don't totally understand the technology, but I think it, in layman's terms, is a way to connect outside data sources to the blockchain, and yeah, which could be big in insurance and stuff like that, which is still in its infancy in crypto as well. So
Yeah.
I bought a few of those just to hold long term. I think I bought some rubbish coins before when it was in the bull run a couple of years ago, and like just got too caught up in it. It's like it's still a lot of it is gambling, isn't it? It's like in its infancy, and a lot of the coins don't have utility. It's just about the hype, and loads of people put their money in and then get the rug pulled. So yeah, I'd rather just focus on my art and just maybe put a little bit in a few things that might have a chance in the future. I think everyone should probably have a bit of Bitcoin because it will run out at some point. I think I've only got £20 of it, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah, maybe worth $1 million in 10 years.
yeah, you never know. But
I remember getting emails back in the day, like offering to buy it for $1, and I was just like, "This is a scam. This is going to be worth nothing."
I know. It's hard to know, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I was the same as you. I had some when that like bull run a few years ago, and then it crashed, and I held on, and then I was like, a few years went. I was like, okay, I'm just going to get rid of it I'll take the loss. And then like within a week, it shot back up again.
Oh no.
Yeah,
that's always the way.
Had no luck with that one.
Yeah.
What's the best advice someone's ever given you?
Don't know what the best advice is, but what came to mind was some advice that like a well-known painter, David Bent, gave me a couple of months ago. And it wasn't even about life, but it got me thinking about other things. So he come to my studio one time. I didn't know who he was, and then we got acquainted and stuff. And his wife Carol, they're both really lovely. And I was painting these. I'll show you the picture. Me fighting with Mr. P there. So awesome. I did a series of paintings of me fighting with my childhood heroes, and it's basically a reflection on male insecurity and like being macho, like looking up to these figures who all got big muscles and they're like tough guys, when I was the opposite to that. And I thought you had to be like that, and I'm kind of fighting them to prove that I'm harder than them, that kind of thing. So I did this series like that. But anyway, he basically advised me to. It's just a small thing, but it was just really so sweet. He got some paint for me, and he suggested rather than using black, use this Payne's grey, which is like a very, very dark grey. And he said use that, or maybe tone the blacks down with a blue or something, cobalt blue. And it sounds like a simple suggestion, like just offering color advice, but it just got me thinking about experimenting more. And I was just really moved that he gave me that advice, and I kind of took it and run with it and started using that. And it just opened up my mind to other possibilities, because in life, it's rare that things are totally black. And even like if you take a photo of someone at night, there's all these different shades and stuff. So it just got me thinking about how I can work with that. And I was just really moved by that he took an interest in me enough to do that. Someone of his caliber as well. Yeah, felt really sweet. Yeah,
that's awesome. Say there's someone just starting out, they want to get into art. Also, could be or it doesn't even have to be art. They come to you for advice. They're just starting out. What advice would you give them?
That's a good question. I don't know if my advice would help really, but I would just say, just to start with whatever it is you want to do. It's really simple. And people might say, well, how do I start? But I can't tell you how to start. You just have to start in your own way and take the first step. I like the analogy I was thinking about it the other day. Like someone said, when you're driving and it's pitch black and you've got your headlights on, you can only see like 5 foot in front of you. It's a bit like that. You can't see ahead. You don't know what's going to happen or where you're going to go with it. You just take that first little step. So like I did with the drawing, I did a few drawings, and it was quite difficult at first, and it felt a little bit strained, and it was stressful because I had an expectation that I had to be really good to start with, and I had to create stuff that sells straight away. But you just need to start and be consistent with it, really. Be patient with yourself, because there might be times that you don't do it, but just keep going. Yeah.
But do you have a favorite work of yourself? Like, what do you have one that you really love? That's your favorite?
Yeah, it's probably one of me on dialysis. I haven't got it here at the moment. That was like the first big oil painting I did, and it was just staring into my own eyes. It was just like really cathartic going through that whole process. And there's also a close favourite to that is the one I did just before that, which was a nude picture of me, and that was quite difficult because growing up as like being overweight and stuff, I had a lot of body issues, and I wanted to put that on canvas so I could get it out there and disarm it. So that's one of my favourites as well. And the reason I painted that one, like I saw this guy's painting. I think he's a British painter called Glenn Pudvine. He drew these series of paintings. They're really good, like really realistic, like oil paintings. But he's got I don't really understand them. But he's got this painting where his own penis is choking him, like it's gone all around his neck, and it's like
Yeah.
I'll show you it. It's like really really bizarre, but it really triggered me. I don't know why.
Yeah.
So then I went on and painted my own nude version. But I think it's great that it triggered me, really, because I got a reaction from his art. So you don't always have to agree with art or enjoy it. It's there to, well, we get whatever reaction we get from it. Everyone's different. So I thought that was quite interesting, really.
Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, inspired you and brought something out in you anyway.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's all about too. You're getting the reaction and like getting people's thinking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I love the name here, Slartify.
Yeah.
That's cool. How'd you come up with that? You got your own podcast going too? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I must admit I've only done 2 episodes, but I'm just, like I said, it's out there in the world and I'm leaving it, and hopefully I'll pick it up again this year and do some more interviews. I decided to do that because you've seen some of my stuff previously. I did interviews with different people around anxiety before. So I thought it'd be a good idea to discuss art with other artists, it'd be useful to me to get different perspectives on their careers and stuff, and also I can record that and like share it with the world. If it's useful for me, it'd be useful for other people. So the first one I did was with an artist called Olek. She mainly does like crochet work, and she did a crochet piece over the the Bull at Wall Street, that sculpture. That was really cool, and I didn't think she'd reply because I was searching for up and coming artists, maybe people who are not too big that they speak to someone who's just starting a podcast. I'm not belittling myself, you know what I mean? If they're going to speak on TV or whatever, they've only got a limited amount of time, which is fair enough. So I contacted Olek, and I didn't think they would reply, but they got back to me, and then we just had the most amazing chat. It went like quite deeply spiritual as well. I think we might have talked about ayahuasca. I can't remember. but yeah, it's definitely quite a deep spiritual thing. So yeah, I might start it back up again. I'm not sure. I'm just wary that I don't want to take on too many extra things, because I want my main focus on actually painting. Because as you know, there's a lot of distractions these days, and we need to kind of limit what we do. But yeah, if it's only like an hour now and again, I might start doing it again.
That's what I was going to ask you next. What's your process when you're creating? You go into the studio? Like what time? Do you have to do it at night, daytime? Yeah, what's your whole process for you?
I usually do it in the evenings. So the process, I don't like to plan too much. When I get ideas, I write them on a notepad for later, like on Apple Notes. So I just got a list of ideas that I want to revisit and paint in the future. And then when I come to the studio, when I've got this idea, I've either taken it from the list or I've got a new idea. I always like to draw it out, because I know some people like to just paint straight away on canvas. I like to draw out my figures and stuff. Started using oil sticks to draw the outlines, because it blends in really well. Like on this one, I don't know if you can see the red bits around the edge.
Yeah.
That's where
I
drew the oil stick originally, and it's made
That's
like
cool.
quite a nice effect on it. So yeah, I draw out my figures, and then I sometimes I might do the background first or paint it in afterwards, but I don't generally plan my colours out too much. Again, some people might draw a portrait and get all their colours mixed ready, match their colours to the painting, but I do it more by feel. I might experiment with more pre-planning in the future, but at the moment this is the way I do it. I just look at the picture that I want to draw, and then I get a rough estimation of the colours I want to use, and like almost kind of ad lib it. I've got loads of paints in my cupboard, and I'll look through them, and the colour will stand out, then I'll pick that. And I enjoy it that way. It's more fluid and it's more enjoyable. So that's the way I do it. And then gratefully, when I tend to know when a painting is finished as well. I don't dwell on it too much. I'll know when it's done, and then I won't have to add anything else to it as well. Which is a blessing. So I know some people might fiddle with it for ages and still not be happy. So it's a fine balance. But yeah, I think I've got it done quite good now. Yeah.
You have music playing in the studio when you're painting and stuff too?
Yeah, I do. I've got where's my speaker? I've got a Bluetooth speaker that I play in here, and it's really good actually. I don't know where I've put it, but yeah, I've started. I had this fun idea of setting up a Spotify playlist each time I come into the studio and sharing it on social media. So then people who see it, they put their own songs on. So I find it like it's a really good kind of fun collab. It's getting people interacting with your post, which is a bonus. But it's like getting people excited about the music they like and sharing it. And then all of a sudden on my playlist, I hear a new song come up, and it's quite amazing actually. Because I put a few of my own art with, and then I might say, like next time I come in, I'm going to say, give me your 90s hip hop recommendations, and then I'll put a few on to start it, and then it'd be nice when you see these tunes pop up on it. It's really cool actually. And then those playlists are out there, and anyone can listen to them as well. It's quite a fun thing, I think.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great idea. It's a good little marketing idea too.
Yeah,
you could set up a live painting thing too.
Yeah, I've done that a few times, I think.
Yeah,
it's hard. You can't really do that when you're playing music at the same time. And
yeah,
need another phone or something. But yeah, I'll think about doing that. Actually, that'd be quite cool.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I had an idea before, like just when I was talking to you. I don't know. It probably sounds crazy, but like a collaborative artwork. Like I think it'd be cool to see something. You paint a character on a canvas, like send it to Film and Portraits. He paints one on there.
Yeah,
and like just like, it's gone from one country to another, two different unique styles on the one canvas.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I think that's a great idea. I've been thinking about that.
Yeah.
And I did actually start the process of that with someone here.
Cool.
I did it on a linen canvas, and it was easy to post because I could roll it up and send it. But the person I was working with hasn't had a chance to do it yet. But I might ask Phil if he wants to do that. Because it's kind of in the social media age, you're documenting that as well, like the sending off of it to someone and they receive it and paint on it. I think it's really cool, actually.
Yeah,
and
it's quite collaborative art.
Yeah.
You could like auction it or something, or do whatever you want, but I just think it'd just be awesome. I'd love to see your two styles on something together.
Yeah, auction it. It could be for like charity or something.
I reckon that'd be so cool.
Yeah.
Like cool. Two different countries. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it, man.
I definitely love your style and everything you got going on. Do you have any plans for this year? Like, have you got any goals set out?
Well, I had the goal of having one exhibition a month, so I've got quite a few set up. I've got one next month locally. It's in a pub. It's in there's this cool pub called the Hop in my town, and they do quite a lot of art stuff in there. So they've got an upstairs room. We're setting up our own gallery in there. That'll be quite fun. And then I've got those two London ones that I said about, and then I'm just going to be applying for more. So I just want to. My plan is to sell the artwork that I've got with the fine art company. Once they sell, then I can. They can take on some more, and then hopefully build up that side. I say hopefully it will happen, but whenever that happens, and just keep focusing on getting down here and painting. I think that's the main thing that I need to remind myself, because you can get caught up in the social media or the going out doing the gallery stuff, which is nice and I enjoy it, but the painting is literally the main thing. Without that, there wouldn't be anything else. So
no, definitely. I think you got heaps of awesome works now. So you got I reckon it's an amazing catalogue, and can't wait to see more.
Thank you very much.
If you could meet anyone in the world, like dead or alive, who would you meet? You could spend a day with them, like learn from them, or just hang out.
Well, the one that came straight to mind was Arnold Schwarzenegger, only because he's like a childhood hero. I know he's not been the best role model in some ways, but the way he gets after things and he achieves his dreams is quite inspiring. And because he's getting on now, bless him. He's not that old. He's in his early 70s, isn't he? And he's still really fit as well. But I would love to meet him before he. I don't want to say that, it sounds morbid, but you know what I mean. I'd like to meet him in this lifetime and just be around his energy, I think.
I've seen you had a cool painting of him with the cigar too.
Yeah, my friend bought that one actually, and I've got another one here.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Arnie a full Nelson.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. Cheers. I actually copied the face from when he's on Total Recall, when he's being.
That's awesome. All right, thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I've had a good chat.
Check out my work. It's www.slart.me, so SLART.me. And I think, I appreciate your time. I think it seems like it's come to a nice end now. We've had a really good chat, and appreciate it.
Definitely, and people can check you out on Facebook and as well Spotify.
Yeah.
I'll post all your links up.